Hi everyone, my name is Vess Rusev and this is episode number 16 of the East Auckland Properties Show. Today, as promised, we're going to discuss how to buy your investment property, how to buy your first investment property, how to buy your second, next, and so on. Again with Brandon from IFI.
Hey, good to see you again.
Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So let's talk about those two scenarios. You want to buy an investment property, and you already own a family home, or you have a couple of properties already. Yeah. And the other option is, for example, you live in somewhere in Half Moon Bay or in Becklands Beach because of McLean's, you don't want to move. Yeah. But you want to invest your money smart. Sure. So you're buying somewhere in Papitoa, for example, or South Auckland. Yeah. Looking ahead and playing the long game. Cool. So what are the two scenarios and what is the best way to move forward?
Cool. Yeah, perfect. So the first scenario, if you've got your current property that you're living in, what tends to happen over time, funnily enough, property prices in Auckland have generally increased in value. It's no surprise. We're out here in Half Moon Bay, and I've got a client who's over in Eastern Beach. They bought their property for $80,000 in late 80s, and everyone thought they were nuts because the property was worth $70,000. And I sat down with them a couple of weeks ago, and they actually told me that their property, when we got the valuation back, was $2.7 million. So, you know, who was really crazy back in 1980? Well, probably still them, because they should have bought another, right? Yes. And that's kind of the whole premise of thinking about buying an investment property, particularly in Auckland. So we've got a large population in Auckland. It's the main city, it's the main business area, the main business city in New Zealand as well. So look, I don't want to go too far into detail. There's heaps of information about it, but the fundamentals always point towards Auckland as being, you know, susceptible to high amounts of capital growth, which is the increase in the value of your property. So if you bought a property, say 5 or 6 years ago, and you've been living in it with your family, just you, it's highly likely that the price you paid for it then is quite a bit lower than the price that it's worth now on the market. So the value of your house has increased, but your mortgage has actually decreased. So if you kind of imagine like a lever or two sort of if we kind of imagine like a column, two separate columns, the value of your property and the mortgage, it's sort of done that over time. And then this gap that you've created between your mortgage and your value of your property, that's called your equity, and that's how much value on top of your mortgage you have left in your property. So this might seem a little bit counterintuitive, and people might question, why would the bank do this? Yeah. But if you have equity in the property, the bank will actually lend you more money, or lenders will lend you more money to form a deposit that you can then use to purchase another property. So you actually don't have to save any money, you just have to repay your debt, and provided the value of your house has increased as well over time, over renovations, you're going to have the ability to draw out a second deposit and then use that and purchase an investment property. So we have to keep in mind at the moment that the rules for purchasing a investment property, if it's an existing property, you can purchase it with 35% deposit, and if it's a new build investment property, it's a 20% deposit. So those are the two things to keep in mind. That equity that you can take out must be 20% or must be 35%, and then you can use that to go and invest in something else.
Yeah, that's in case you already have a property and you have the equity that can go to the towards the next property and the investment property. In case you're renting a house, but you want to invest your money, what's the best way to do it, to buy your first investment property?
Cool. So two different
without
ways.
Equity.
Yeah. Okay. So with obviously you don't have a home, so you can't use that money in the value of your home. So we're not going to be able to apply any of that, but the two things we can apply is the deposit amounts. So you can either buy it with a 35% deposit, or you can buy it with a 20% deposit, depending on if it's an existing property or if it's a new build property. Yeah. So what we've seen a lot of is investors who don't quite have the equity, they've been buying a investment property that's new built, because it gets a bit more rent, not a lot of maintenance, repairs, and some of them are a bit cheaper as well than the existing properties. So they've been purchasing properties like that. But otherwise, if you're renting, you might be renting for reasons like you want to be in the McLean zone, you want to be in the Hauck or the Pakuranga zone, wherever. You might be renting somewhere for a particular reason, but you can't afford to buy there.
Yeah.
But you have enough money to purchase something over in South Auckland or somewhere out west or somewhere a bit north. So you can use your deposit to still purchase a house and be in the market just by going to a different area and buying an investment. And then obviously that's just not as much of a, you don't have to pay as much to keep the property because you receive the rent. So you just got to keep that in mind too.
So the banks look at you as an investor or as a first home buyer if you buy a property that you're going to rent out?
So that would still be an investor. Even if you've never bought a house before, you're still going to be an investor. But one trick as well that you guys can think about is obviously if you're living with a couple, potentially one of your parents might still own their family home.
Yeah.
If they've owned their family home for a while, it's highly likely that there's going to be equity in the family home. So if you just don't have quite enough to get there yet, if you're in a position where you can buy an investment property, but you're just maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 grand short of being able to have a deposit to buy your first home, you could still maybe go to mum and dad and ask, hey, are we able to receive like 10, 20, 30, 40,000 as a gift from you to help support our deposit?
What we discussed previous time.
Exactly, yeah, and the cost for that is actually very small for them to service a small loan like that, and it's a good use of money because then the family then purchases a property and they're in the market and they're already going. So I would really encourage that, especially if you don't have a property and you're looking to buy one. If there's a property in your family and your family is open to it and it's not going to put anyone's financial position in jeopardy, then it's worthwhile to say, hey, is there any way that you can gift some of the money to us?
Yeah. Okay. And by all means, go and look for financial advice, legal advice from a real estate agent, just to see all the different aspects of the whole process and just to make sure that you're all covered. And anything else about investment that we can?
No, I think that's pretty much it. If you're buying an investment, you're still always going to need a lawyer whenever you buy a property. Certainly talk to an accountant. Most definitely. A lot of people don't do it for an investment property, and speaking to an accountant, a lot of people say, hey, I don't want to pay the fees for an accountant. But I'll tell you what, it makes a big difference in terms of how much you're going to save on your tax bill. So those are the two people you certainly need to. If you're buying your first home, what I actually found really helpful as well, for myself personally, was that I found an agent that I really did appreciate and that I worked quite well with, and I felt treated me really, really well as a first home buyer. I made sure I worked with them and they actually ended up finding me the property as well.
Awesome.
So that to me is, you gotta find the right person to do it. And I feel like you do a pretty good job of it.
Thank you.
So if someone, if you're looking for that first home and you're ready to go, but you're just not too sure about the properties, you can always get an agent on your side as well to make sure that, they're helping you through the whole process. And
you don't pay for the agent because
that's ridiculous, right? You don't even pay them.
You don't even pay us.
We're
just happy to help.
Cool.
Okay, that's all for today. We're gonna do our regular monthly catch-up. I think at the beginning of March. It'll be or mid-March.
Cool.
And then we're gonna discuss the local market, the global market, and what's going on within the country and the financial market. So again, thanks, Brandon.
No problem. Thanks for
your time. Thanks for this beautiful setting, beautiful backdrop.
No, it's all right.
Next time we'll be here again.
Yeah, I didn't put it here, but it certainly looks good. I'll take the credit.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See ya.
Thank you.